जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंदा जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा
जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय
जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंदा जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा
जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद
जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंदा जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा
जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद
So we are reading from Sri Caitanya Charitamrta Adi Lila, chapter number 5. We'll do verses 23 through 35. Mathura Dwarkaya Nija Rupa Prakashiya Nana Rupe Velasaye Chaturvyuha Haina. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Lord Krishna manifests his own form in Mathura and Dwarka. He enjoys pastimes in various ways by expanding into the quadruple forms. Text 24. Vasudeva Sankarshana Pradyumna Aniruddha Sarvachaturvyuha Amshi Turiya Vasudha. Translation. Vasudev, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha are the primary quadruple forms from whom all other quadruple forms are manifested. They are all purely transcendental. 25. Etina loke Krishna kevala lila maya nijagana lanakhele ananta samaya. Translation. Only in these three places, Dwarka, Mathura, and Gokul, does the all-sporting Lord Krishna perform his endless pastimes with his personal associates. 26. Paravyoma madhyekari swarupa prakasha narayana rupe karena vividha vilasa. In the Vaikuntha planets of the spiritual sky, the Lord manifests his identity as Narayana and performs pastimes in various ways. 27 and 28. Swarupa Vigraha Krishnera Kevala Dvibhuja Narayana Rupe Seitanu Chaturbhuja Shankar Chakra Gada Padma Maheshwarya Maya Shibhu Nila Shakti Yanra Charana Sevaya. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Krishna's own form has only 2 hands, but in the form of Lord Narayana, he has 4 hands. Lord Narayan holds a conch shell, disc, club, and lotus flower, and he is full of great opulence. The Shri, Bhu, and Nila energies serve at his lotus feet. Purport. In the Ramanuja and Madhva sects of Vaishnavism, there are extensive descriptions of the Shri, Bhu, and Nila energies. In Bengal, the Nila energy is sometimes called the Lila energy. These 3 energies are employed in the service of 4-handed Narayana in Vaikuntha, relating how 3 of the Alvars, namely Bhutayogi, Sarayogi, and Bhrantayogi, saw Narayana in person when they took shelter at the house of a Brahmana in the village of Gehali. The Prapanatmrita of the Sri Sampradaya describes Narayana as follows. Tarakshadhirudham tadid ambudabhujam Lakshmidharam vakshasi mankajaksham Hastadvaye shobita shankh chakram Vishnum dadrushur bhagavantam adyam Ajanu bahum kamaniya gatram Parshvadvaye shobita bhuminilam Pitambaram bhushanam bhushitangam Chaturbhujam chandanam rushitangam. They saw the lotus-eyed Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, mounted on Garuda and holding Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, to his chest. He resembled a bluish rain cloud with flashing lightning, and in 2 of his 4 hands he held a conch shell and disc. His arms stretched down to his knees, and all his beautiful limbs were smeared with sandalwood and decorated with glittering ornaments. He wore yellow clothes, and by either side stood his energies Bhumi and Nila. There is the following reference to the Shri, Bhu, and Nila energies in the Shitopanishad. Mahalakshmi Deveshasya Bhina Bhina Rupa Chetanamaka Sadevi Trividha Bhavati Shaktyatmana Ichha Shaktihi Kriya Shaktihi Sakshat Shakti iti. Ichha Shakti Trividha Bhavati Shri Bhumina Lilamtika. Mahalakshmi, the supreme energy of the Lord, is experienced in different ways. She is divided into material and spiritual potencies, and in both features, she acts as the willing energy, creative energy, and the internal energy. The willing energy is again divided into three, namely Shri, Bhu, and Nila. Quoting from the revealed scriptures in his commentary on the Bhagavad Gita 4.6, Madhvacharya has stated that Mother Material Nature, which is conceived of as the illusory energy Durga, has three divisions, namely Shri, Bhu, and Nila. She is the illusory energy for those who are weak in spiritual strength, because such energies are created energies of Lord Vishnu. Although each energy has no direct relationship with the unlimited, they are subordinate to the Lord because the Lord is the master of all energies. In the Bhagavad Sandarbha, text 23, Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhu states, the Padma Purana refers to the eternally auspicious abode of Godhead, which is full in all opulences, including the energies Shri, Bhu, and Nila. The Mahasamhita, which discusses the transcendental name and form of Godhead, also mentions Durga as a potency of the super soul in relationship with the living entities. The internal potency acts in relation with his personal affairs, and the material potency manifests the three modes. Quoting elsewhere from the revealed scriptures, he states that Shri is the energy of Godhead that maintains the cosmic manifestation. Bhu is the energy that creates the cosmic manifestation. And Nila, Durga, is the energy that destroys the creation. All these energies act in relation with the living beings, and thus they are together called Jiva Maya. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So welcome to all of you to today's class. We are continuing from where we left off last Saturday. So in the beginning, when we started reading the verses, there's a nice mention about how Krishna, he expands himself in quadruple form, the first quadruple form. And the reason is because he wants to enjoy his pastimes. And this is only in Dwarka and Mathura and Gokul. Now in Vaikuntha, his pastimes are performed as Lord Narayana. And I was listening to a very nice lecture by a Maharaj in Houston. And for the first time, I heard something new. This is the beauty of knowledge given by Krishna, that it's always new, right? It's always new. That's a benediction Krishna had got, that whatever he speaks is always going to sound new, fresh. Yes, fresh is the right word. That's why we see whenever we read Bhagavad Gita over and over again, the same verses, they sound very fresh and new. So what I heard was, he said that the presiding deities of this quadruple manifestation, the presiding deity of consciousness is Vasudev. Did you know that? False ego is Shankarshana. Intelligence is Pradyumna, and mind is Aniruddha. Did you hear that before?
No. Consciousness, I heard Vasudev, but
Vasudev. Yes. Yes. So false ego Shankarshana, intelligence Pradyumna, and presiding deity of mind is Aniruddha. So I was like, immediately I went in Google and wanted to read more about it. This is the benefit of the process given to us by Srila Prabhupada, that Bhagavatam class in the morning. and Bhagavad Gita class in the evening, because we learn so many new things just by hearing, because Krishna's knowledge is unlimited. We are limited. So for us to know everything is not possible. So every time we learn something new. So this is the primary quadruple form, and which is purely transcendental, as we read. And then from this form, more quadruple forms are manifested. But as we learned even in the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna tells Arjuna, after showing him the universal form, then the Vishnu form, Narayan form, and then Arjuna wanted to see the two-handed Shyam Sundar form. And this is what the verse here said, that this is the original two-handed form of Krishna. Lord Narayana, he has four hands. Of course, we read the beautiful description of Lord Narayana from the reference, from the scriptures, right? The references are there, that what is the color, what is the color of the outfit, the dress, the dhoti is wearing yellow color, and four arms, and holding what? Conch shell, disc, lotus, and club. So this is how. So supposing tomorrow I say I am Narayana, so what are you going to ask me? Where are your forearms, and where are all those weapons, or whatever you may call, right, that Lord Narayana is holding? So from scriptures we come to know that this is what Lord Narayana or Lord Vishnu looks like, but original form is two-handed Krishna Shyam Sundar form. Now also we learned in these verses about the energies. Now we've heard the energies of Krishna, but here we are learning more in detail. And he's talking about three energies that serve Lord Narayana. And these energies, they are subordinate to Lord Krishna, because Krishna is the master of all the energies. Now, what are those three energies we learned? Does anyone remember the names of those three energies?
So Lila is one.
No.
Shri Bhu and Nila.
Shri Bhu and Nila. Yeah, Shri Bhu and Nila. Now, what is their role? What do they do? What are the instructions given by Krishna to these three energies? So it says that Shri energy maintains the cosmic manifestation, Bhu energy creates the cosmic manifestation, and Nila energy, which is actually Durga, is for destruction of the cosmic manifestation. And all these, they are in relation with the living entities, so that the one, that super soul within the heart, in relation to the super soul, and because they are in relation to the living entities, they are called Jiva Maya. Jiva is us, right? The living entities, the spirit souls, Jiva Maya. Then there is a beautiful description of Mahavishnu, Lord Narayana and Mahalakshmi. Of course, Vishnu is Mahavishnu, though we know from Srimad Bhagavatam that there are different manifestations, like this first Mahavishnu, then Garbhodakshay Vishnu, then Shirodakshay Vishnu. But they are all manifestations of Lord Krishna. So the beautiful description is given about Lord Narayana and Mahalakshmi, and the Shastras, they give us full reference and description. So when we have all this knowledge in the scriptures, is there a need for speculation? No need for speculation. Everything is there. In fact, before we came to this material world, the scriptures were already given to us. Krishna, who incarnated as Vyasadev, he put down everything in writing for us. Why? Because we are forgetful souls. Do we remember what was the first verse we read today?
No.
Even I don't remember. That's Kali Yuga memory. But what was there in verse 23? That is a big question, right? It was about the quadruple forms. So Kali Yuga memory is really poor. That's why it is there in writing. And Srila Prabhupada mentions in one of his purpose that Krishna, he performs one activity for the fallen souls, and that is to deliver the fallen souls, the living entities, with four kinds of liberation. Now, we've heard this many times. And Prabhupada says, devotee is not interested in any of these four kinds of liberations. Devotee is only interested in serving the Supreme Lord. That's it. So what are those? But it's good to know 4 kinds of liberation, because we meet so many different kinds of people who are only interested in liberation. So if we have knowledge, then we can explain to them. So Salokya Mukti is the status equal to that of the Supreme Lord. Samipya is constant association with Krishna, with the Supreme Lord. Sarshti is opulence equal to the Supreme Lord, and Sarupya is features just like the Supreme Lord. So just like when we go for grocery shopping, when we go to the store, we have options. Say we want to buy cheese, we have different options, whether you want cheddar cheese, I don't remember the other names. Whatever. See, different options are there. We want cornflakes, there are different options are there with berries or this or that. Similarly, here options are there. Whichever liberation one wants, one can go for it. But there is a process to achieve that liberation. Then Srila Prabhupada talks about 2 kinds of liberated souls. One is those who are liberated by favor of Krishna. How beautiful, by favor of Krishna, Krishna's mercy. And the other are those who are doing that on their own, like, attaining liberation, becoming a liberated soul in their own efforts. So those who are liberated by the favor of Krishna are devotees of Krishna who are performing devotional service. Devotional service means serving, which means we are the servants. And how do we serve? With devotion. Even in Bhagavad Gita, we learn Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yome Bhaktya Prayachati. Krishna accepts these items only when we offer them with love and devotion. We may spend a lot of time, preparing nice big feast for the Lord, but if there is no devotion in there, how is Krishna going to accept it? Because he's only looking for love and devotion in that feast. He's not looking for rasgulla, samosa, or anything. He's looking for love. Not that he needs it, but it is for our benefit. And when I was thinking, meditating on this verse, then unfortunately, I was not happy, because when I was cooking, I was not thinking about God. I was not thinking about Krishna. I was thinking about, oh, I have to do this work and I have to do that and I have to go here and have to go there. And I'm like, this is not right. Because when we are cooking for the Lord, then we have to be completely absorbed in that activity, in that service. Of course, my husband thinks that we should grow our own fruits and vegetables, with that consciousness that, okay, here I'm digging the earth, and I'm going to sow the seeds for Krishna, that state of consciousness. But that's not really, it's possible, but it's not really practical in the lives that we live, to go to that extent and then, cut those vegetables. You still have vegetables in your garden? Yeah. Because of winter, but then it'll come, right? Big cucumbers and big right? That is the consciousness. And then, cut them, clean them, cook them, all in consciousness of Krishna. That is devotion. That is devotional service. But just like we say, beggars cannot be choosers, right? We make best use of the bad bargain that we have. So, okay, when I go to the grocery store, the consciousness is I'm going to buy the best vegetable or fruit for Krishna. We start consciousness from there. So, those who are performing devotional service, those devotees, they are liberated by mercy of Krishna, whereas the others, they do it with their own efforts, and they are the ones who are offered 4 kinds of liberation. And Prabhupada says that those who are liberated with their own efforts, they are actually impersonalists, because they want to merge into the effulgence of Krishna. Now, many times we hear people saying, I want liberation. But they don't know liberation doesn't mean ending the body and, going somewhere. Liberation is actually a state of consciousness. One can become a pure devotee and liberated even while in this body. And the process is given to us by Srila Prabhupada. Then in the following verses, there is mention about Brahma Sayujya liberation, which Prabhupada says Such people cannot enter Vaikuntha. They only merge into the Brahma Jyoti and they only stay outside of Vaikuntha. They cannot enter inside Vaikuntha. And what happens is they merge into the effulgence of Krishna's body, which is outside. They cannot enter into Vaikuntha. And this region is called Siddhaloka, which is beyond material nature. It's also called Brahmaloka. Siddhaloka is also Brahmaloka. And it says that in this loka, there are no spiritual varieties. Sometimes people, I've come across some who say, I want to become Brahma. Why? Because he lives 311 trillion, 40 billion years. But then what? After that, what? Right? So impersonalists, they want to merge into Brahmaloka effulgence. Of course, we have to understand Brahmaloka is a spiritual place, but you don't find spiritual varieties over there. You see? But it is still considered to be outside of Vaikuntha. It doesn't come under the same level as the Vaikuntha. And it is said the effulgence which is there, this Brahma Jyoti which is there, it's the same kind that we find around the sun. But inside the sun planet, it says there's everything. There are opulences, there is sun god. That's the difference. See, but Prabhupada says the devotees of Krishna, their aim is to go to Krishna Loka, which is the highest Vaikuntha planet. And one of the verses says that many people attain that goal of going either to Brahmaloka or wherever by abandoning their sinful activities. Absorbing their mind in the Lord. This is what Srila Prabhupada has taught us, how to absorb our mind in Krishna consciousness. What do you think is the first step? Open Bhagavatam? Read Bhagavad Gita? What is it? What is the first step? Chanting. Attentive chanting. Yes, attentive chanting. That is the first step. Srila Prabhupada says 99% of our spiritual progress depends on attentive chanting. That is. And then, of course, when we do attentive chanting, then the anarthas from the heart, they just go away. We don't have to strive separately or make a plan separately, or how can I remove lust from my heart? How can I remove envy from my heart? No, it'll just be automatic. So Prabhupada gives a nice analogy. He says, just like the sun purifies all the impure things, right? Whenever the sun rays, they fall even on, impure things, becomes pure. Why? Because those sun rays are so very powerful. Similarly, Krishna can purify all the material qualities that we have. Even if one is attached to lust, is very angry person, is very envious person, still Krishna, by his mercy, can change lust into love. This we learned in the Bhagavad Gita also. 3 gates leading to hell: lust, anger, and greed. Srila Prabhupada says, one can satisfy a hungry man, a thirsty man, an angry person, but never a greedy person. Never. He also gives the example of, if supposing there is a bag of grains on the street, the birds will just come and pick few grains and go away. But a human being will take the whole bori and go. Why? Why not? Generations. Yes, yeah. Of course, it won't last for generations. But let me keep, in store. Keep some. We have pantries in our house, which are over flooded actually. I was thinking about it. I need to do some cleansing process of the pantry also. There's so many things we don't use. They're just lying there. You can have. Yes, that would be a good idea. Yes. Maha cleaning. Yes. Yes. I remember when Janardhan Maharaj came, after he left, there were so many items. that were not even open, exactly. And we like to overdo, right? If one bag of rice is needed, we'll buy 3 4 and keep. And why 2 3 4 we keep? You never know, we may need it. But this stomach is only so much, right? We can eat only so much. So this is what we keep doing, some more possessions, some more this and some more that. And then by the time it's too late, there's no place to even walk. There's so much stuff in the house. You're smiling. That means you relate to this, right? Yeah. I had heard one lecture which this Maharaj was saying anything that we have not used for 2 years should be thrown out.
Are we still attached?
I know we are still attached. That's why it's there for 10 years. Or you never know, maybe I will use it sometime. And then who's going to go to buy it? Let me just keep it. And this is how the whole house, similarly, our consciousness gets filled up like that. It gets overburdened. It gets too much stuff in the head where then it becomes so much confusing, what to throw out. What has been lying there for 10 years that I need to throw out? This is a process given to us by Srila Prabhupada. So, by mercy of Krishna, he can convert lust into love. But Prabhupada says, even if one is against Krishna, how many of us have come across our own relatives who are not in favor of Krishna consciousness? Yes? Yes. They say that what you are doing is totally unrelatable. Yes, you're spoiling the name of the family. What are you doing? I remember my mother told me when we came to the US in 92, we continued our Krishna consciousness. She said, you've gone to America to earn money. What are you doing? You're wasting your life. You're so young. Who says you're young? A 1 year old is also called 1 year old. It's not called 1 year young. Why? Because we are, not supposing I am 66. So I am 66 years closer to death. That's the reality of life. So even if one is against Krishna, they can also be purified by Krishna's mercy. What examples do we have? Kamsa, Jagai and Madai, Ravana, they all got purified. Even though they were against the Supreme Lord, they got purified and liberated. Of course, even Shishupal, if you all remember. So, Srila Prabhupada in his purport says that we, being the parts of the Supreme Lord, Mamai Vamsha Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. We are Sanatana, we are eternal. So we should think about the spirit soul and not think about this material body, which is temporary. Now, that doesn't mean we don't take care of the body, but we do not get attached to the body. We do not get too attached to our, what are those children called? What does Prabhupada call them? Extensions. Our extensions, not expansions, that is only Krishna. Only Krishna expands. We only have extensions, like the extension cord. Right? Not get attached to those extensions, but instead understand that we are parts of Krishna and our constitutional position is to serve him. And how do we serve him? By following the instructions given to us. So when we choose to approach Krishna, Krishna reciprocates. Have we noticed this in the material world? Sometimes we want to have a relation with somebody, but there's no reciprocation. Yes? We see that even in our relatives or friends or whoever it may be. We want to, but then somehow or the other, that reciprocation does not come. But with Krishna, it is a lot, 10 times more than what we give to him. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam sathaiva bhajami. Mama vartamanu vartate manushya partha sarva. Sarva. Everyone has to follow Krishna's path. Maybe now, maybe later, maybe next life, maybe after many lifetimes, but that is the only way. And when one tries to surrender to the Lord, then Krishna, he helps that living entity to disentangle. We are entangled. I was seeing this beautiful quote that was posted with a nice picture by Janardhan Maharaj. I posted it today, I think, in the Bhagavad Gita group. There are shackles, right? Sometimes there are iron shackles, sometimes copper, sometimes gold, but they are shackles. These are the material modes. And the only way to disentangle is by attentive chanting, following Krishna consciousness. But unfortunately, most people, they do not want to take up this process because then they will have to give up sense enjoyment. Now, who says give up sense enjoyment? Just dovetail it, right? Like, for instance, if my family says, I want to eat bhel puri, no problem. You don't have to stop eating bhel puri, no. All we need to do is cook in that consciousness that I have to offer it to the Lord, have that prasadam for the family. Family is enjoying, the senses are still being enjoyed, but in a Krishna conscious way. So, because people don't want to give up sense enjoyment, they do not want to follow rules and regulations. I remember reading this very nice quote by Guru Maharaj where he says that when a person is diseased, then that person has to follow the prescription of the doctor. So there is medicine and then there is diet. Both are there. What do you think is the diet? No, no, service. Isn't that beautiful? Diet is a service. So when we perform service, whether it is at home, in our temple room, or whether we are doing it in the temple where we go, on Sundays, that service is our diet. And of course, rules or regulations are there. The doctor is going to say, don't eat this, don't do that, do's and don'ts. Similarly, there are do's and don'ts even in the spiritual life. There are rules, and these rules are for our benefit to cure us of the disease called Maya. Today we learned about Jiva Maya. This is the first time I read about Jiva Maya, even though we have read, these scriptures over and over again, but still we forget. So Srila Prabhupada says that many have attained liberation just by thinking about Krishna. How? With great attention. Then it's possible to receive Krishna's mercy. And to do that, it's important to concentrate our mind. Our mind is very chanchala. Prabhupada says it jumps like a monkey from one tree to another. And I am 100% sure, no, 500% sure, your minds have gone out of this room at least once in this class. And you all are saying yes? Even those on the Zoom, right? This is how the mind works. So what do? We bring it back into Krishna consciousness. So by constant practice. And Prabhupada says that when we start practicing Krishna consciousness, then detachment will be automatic. Why? Because we start getting attached to Krishna. We start getting attached to the devotees of Krishna. I was hearing this lecture yesterday, and Prabhu was saying that devotee association is very important. But the more important point is we associate with devotees who are concerned about us. What powerful statement. Those devotees who are concerned about us, we associate with them. Why? Because when we associate with such devotees who are concerned about our spiritual welfare, that means they have that emotion of love for us. Does that make sense? Right? They like us, they want us to progress because they are concerned about us. Then there is also faith in such devotees. So it's important that we associate with devotees that can help us somehow or the other qualify to go to the highest Vaikuntha planet, which is Krishna Loka. So, Srila Prabhupada has given us this golden opportunity. Of course, our past pious credit has given us this opportunity to be sitting today so early in the morning to hear Caitanya Charitamrita. Was it easy? No, it's not easy. We have so much planning to do to come here. Yes or no? Or is it you just woke up and you came? No, I have to do planning. The previous night, okay, tomorrow I have to go for the class. So I have to do this, this, and this so that I can reach in time for the class. Huh?
Still got late.
Oh, that means more planning. Right? Right? I remember hearing one time that bhakti should be so very important for us. It is like as if it's a life and death situation. And I heard this very nice example that supposing my child is really sick, and if the child is not taken to the hospital on time, the child will die. What will we do? Forget everything and we'll reach 1 hour in advance. Yes or no? When we are going on vacations, at least I go to 3 hours in advance. I don't know why. I mean, y'all keep telling me, no, there's no need to go so early. You can go a little late. No, it's better to go there and wait than to miss the flight. Right? So,
Because I missed.
you miss the flight. That's okay. Next flight is there next Sunday. I mean, Saturday. There is a flight every Saturday. Right? So it depends. Krishna sees our sincere endeavors. How much are we endeavoring to progress spiritually? And based on that, he guides us and helps us. And once again, before I end, association of devotees is very, very, very important. We may be living far away, but somehow or the other, we should make an effort to meet at least once a week so that we can exchange Krishna Katha. We can converse about Krishna Katha. So this is how it ends at verse number 35. So I will end now.
28.
No, I didn't. I talked about the others. I already till 35. If I went on reading, then the whole class would be just reading. That's why. Okay. So if anyone has any questions